Hey, welcome back to Green Thumb Prepper. So it's almost gardening season, so the plan right now is I'm going to be making all of the calcium that my plants are going to need for this growing season. So over the course of the winter, I save up my eggshells, but we've got a flock of chickens here, so it doesn't take long to get a bunch of eggshells. So what we're going to do is I keep them in the freezer until I have a whole bunch and I need them for this weekend. So we're going to take them, defrost them, put them out on your baking sheet, break them all up. You don't want them in great big clumps because they won't dry out properly. All right, smash them all up to bits. And the oven is heating up to 250. We don't want to cook these on a really high temperature. We want to do them on a lower temperature, because really all we're trying to do is dry them out and we want to dry them out so they're no longer going to be sticky, and we're also kind of killing some of the germs and stuff that might be on these. So we're going to smash them all up to pieces. We're going to throw them in the oven at 250 for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, depending on how many eggshells you have. This is a pretty big pile of eggshells, right? So, and a lot of these are like eggshells inside of other eggshells. So I'll probably, like, look at this, right? Layers and layers of eggshells. So I'm probably going to do these for about 25 minutes. Oh, these are duck eggs. That's why they're so hard. So I'll do these for about 25 minutes. And then when they're done, I'll let them cool off. Then I'll be putting them in either a blender or a magic bullet. And I'm going to blend them up until these are a powder. I'll do it until pretty much we're talking about like talcum powder sort of consistency. So when you've got your eggs going in the oven, if you can still see if they're shiny at all, or if you can grab them, pick them up and crunch them if they're not dry, then do them a little bit longer. Because when you put them in your blender or your magic bullet, if there's any moisture or sticky goop left in here, it's not going to blend up, right? You're going to end up with like gobs of this stuff spinning around inside your blender. And you don't want to do that. Now you've got a headache to kind of deal with. You want this stuff to be dry enough so that when it comes out of your blender, it's going to be like a white powdery fog kind of floating around inside your blender. It's going to be that dry. Because calcium and eggshells take a while. For anybody who gardens, you throw eggshells into your garden and you can go back there a couple of months later and you're still finding chunks, right? And the reason we're putting this in is we want our plants to be able to use this stuff. And it's not available for the plant to uptake it in a hard, chunky fashion. So the smaller you can get this stuff when you're putting it into the ground, the better off it's going to be for your plants. So we're pretty broken up, right? There is probably half a pound of eggshells here or something. Okay, so next step from here, they're going in the oven. Oven's already heated to 250. And I'm setting a timer for about 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I'll come in and give them a stir and then put them back and run the rest of the time out. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so we're out of the oven, and I learned something today. I learned that farm chickens have way tougher shells than city chickens do, because normally these are done with city chickens every year in 20-25 minutes, and this is all farm eggs here from my farm, and these took 40 minutes in the oven at 225, 40 minutes. So they're all done. They've cooled off. See, they're all loose. So next step, they're gonna go into the blender, and we're gonna blender the hell out of them. And we're literally gonna blender these things till I can turn them into powder. So that's next. I'll show you guys that after they've been in the blender, because there's no point in me running a blender for you guys. Everybody's seen a blender.
You can see it getting a little powdery in there. That's what you're looking for.
Right, told ya. Super powdery. Look at that. All right, so now we're gonna dump that into here. It's a plastic peanut butter container, right? And I keep it in plastic because if I put it in a glass one and let's say I happen to drop this and smash it, I'm gonna have this stuff everywhere. So at least in the plastic, it's I'm not too worried about breaking it. Okay, I'll show you, I'll get back in a second. So this is the final product. So we've got about 1.5 inches worth of eggshells in this thing. And this weighs pretty close to a pound because I've got a pound of butter right here in the background and I'm comparing to the hand-in-hand thing. And so that's roughly about a pound of eggshells. And about half of that will be used in my garden, and the other half will be used for other planting processes. So yeah, normally what I'll do is I'll mix eggshells in with leftover coffee grinds, and when I'm planting my vegetables, each hole that I plant my plant in gets a scoop of this stuff mixed with the coffee grounds into the bottom of every hole. So I need a fair amount of this stuff. Now I'm not putting anything in the ground for at least a couple of weeks, and we eat a lot of eggs around here, so I'll definitely have more to add to this, but this is at least where I'm starting. So for you guys who are worried about getting calcium into your garden, it's right here. It's free. It costs you nothing, right? For those of you with a farm with chickens and you're eating eggs on a regular basis, you could easily put this much eggshells together. And you know, another benefit to this is a lot of issues with blossom end rot on your tomatoes. It's either a pollination issue or a calcium issue. So if you put this into the bottom of all of your tomato pots or your tomato holes or however you're doing your tomatoes, you'll have less issues with blossom end rot as well. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming back and have a great day. Hope this helps. So start putting your eggshells away. This stuff is super beneficial. All right, cool. See ya. Grow good food. Bye.